It is Noach idolatry number 18. The topic today is fascinating. Who created evil, when, and how? Evil. So who created it, when, and how? So if you want to see who created evil, so first of all, I need to make a point here that our class today is really situated right at the transition between chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Genesis. Chapter 1 with the story of Genesis, of creation, and chapter 2, the story of Eden. And as we finish now talking about chapter 1 with the idolatry commandment, we are moving now to chapter 2 and 3, story of Eden, with adultery, number 2 commandment. So right there at the transition between the two topics is we are coming now to discuss what is evil. And you remember that the tree of knowledge in Eden is a tree of knowing evil. So obviously what we discussed today has implication to the story of Eden. You cannot understand the story of Eden if you don't know what we are talking today. So that's a good introduction to the next topic, which will be, as we move on to from idolatry, chapter 1, with all the idols, to a new story of Eden with a new commandment focusing on sexual prohibition and adultery. So that's where we are now. I wanted to emphasize it, how important the class is in understanding the commandment of Noah. So what is evil? How did it enter? We want to understand how did it enter our heart? And why are we so fascinated by evil? Fascinating. You may hear news, good news all day long on the TV till boring. Mm. But if in China a bus fall into the river, with casualty, you are excited and want to see the pictures and so on. So we are fascinated by trouble, by death, by evil in the world. You say to the caveman, how depicted a scene of death, of hunting on the cave wall. You see how excited he was with this scene of death. And you see it in the Colosseum. The Colosseum was built in Rome for people to have lunch. And by the time they have lunch, by bread that Caligula gave him free, I also gave him some entertainment, which means people are eaten up by lions, people are killed by gladiators. A good fun, very excited evil. And they took the gold, masses of gold that they took from the Temple of Judea, which was built for the merciful Hashem. Think how ironic it is. They took the gold that was poured out when the temple was burned. There was so much gold floating around. They took it, and that's what the expert said. This is how Titus and Vespasianus had money to build the Colosseum, to see evil. So that they destroyed the temple of Hashem in Jerusalem. How foolish they were, how ignorant. They destroyed the temple of Hashem, the merciful Hashem, and they build Colosseum to sin of evilness, which is the opposite of Hashem. And of course, today, I don't want to tell you how fascinating we are still with the sin of evil and killing and murdering and torturing on TV. We don't have Colosseum anymore, but we have a screen, silver screen, that we spend hours watching them. And of course, that's very entertaining. That's how the industry thrives with movies like this. So evil. So the question is, how is it that we are so fascinated by evil? So the question is, what is evil? Who created it? When? And why are we so fascinated by it? What's the magic about the evil? So at the end of the class, or our classes, we like to have some idea, but let's see what the Torah is telling us about this question. Now, until now, we learn about idolatry versus Elohim, and Elohim said here, let us make Adam in our form, in our image. So Elohim consulted everything mentioned in the chapter. He consulted the 6 days, he consulted the wisdom, he consulted the passions, he himself, and he consulted those entities and made Adam accordingly, layer by layer. And those things that he consulted with became our magical idols. Like the 6th day, we worship nature, we worship the science, we worship ourselves, and so on, because Elohim consulted it. So you can say Elohim consulted evil and made Adam. So evil must be somewhere here in the chapter, and Elohim consulted it and made Adam. So that's why we are so fascinated by evil, and sometimes we worship even evil. There are societies that worship evil. Well, the point is that you cannot say that. You cannot say that Elohim, the attribute of judgment, consulted evil and made Adam. That's too much for Judaism, you know. Elohim, as much as he is just, he is harsh, but he is not. He will not consult evil to plant it in Adam. Not only that, there is no such thing. Is there such thing as evil to consult with? What is evil? Is it evil independent entity to consult with, like wisdom or the nature? And evil, forget about the European imagination of evil. The pagan imagination of evil, of Satan, as an independent force that stands on its own and even dare to fight Elohim. That's a common thinking about evil. And that's against the Bible. That's against the Torah. Because there is no such power that can even dare to stand the scrutiny of Elohim. If Elohim, to negate Elohim or to be independent of Elohim, there is no such thing. So the European imagination of Satan and demon with the fire by the Gehenna, all that is a pagan, agnostic influence poured into Judaism with no consent of Judaism, never. Judaism never consented to that. I know that other religions adopted the idea, very much so. There is no sermon without mentioning this Satan. Mm. But the Satan in the Torah, in Hebrew, is no such power. In fact, the only Satan appearing in Moses' book is a good angel, with a white angel with white wing that is adversary to Balaam. So I want to stop Balaam, so he stand there as a Satan to Balaam. Balaam was going to curse Israel, so the angel stood as a Satan against him. So it means adversary. That's the Hebrew meaning of Satan, Sitna. So don't confuse it, never confuse it with a demonic and a European imagination of Satan. I know that in the past, when I had experienced that when I introduced a subject to class of former Christian, many simply left the room. They were so upset by what I'm saying, they left the room. They say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. They couldn't copy the idea that they were born into for all their life. They were just hearing about Satan, Satan, Satan. And here I'm saying that there's no such thing. So I hope that you won't leave the room. So, but on the other hand, what is evil? But I didn't say Satan, I say evil. So what is evil? Evil is a perception. So again, we want to find out at the end, why are we so fascinated by evil? How did it enter our heart, and what is it? So the rule of thumb in the Torah, I give you right away the rule. The rule of thumb is that evil is something bad that YHVH, the merciful one, hates. Now, let me make a point. I know there are something that's bad. There is something that I can call bad things. Suppose I have a stock market. Suppose my stock price goes down. So it's a very bad news to me. Bad news to me, because my stock went down. But for somebody else, it may be good news. The same event can be seen good news in the eyes of others. So it's very common knowledge that bad is very subjective. But bad to me may be good for you. Evil is a little different. When I say the term evil, you can actually hear it, that it's something inherently cruel, ugly, cruel, something repulsive that I hate, or to say more precisely, that Hashem hates. When I say Hashem, I say YHVH. The merciful one hates. Not that Elohim hates, because Elohim doesn't hate anything. The judge simply decides if we are sinner or not sinner. But he won't hate us. I don't think you would like to go before a judge in your district that hates people or loves people. And that's how he judged them. The judge simply look at what you did. You drove 100 miles per hour. The law says only 70. Pay that you, but the judge will never say that you're an evil person. You are a sinner. It against the law. That's the Elohim attitude to a sinner. YHVH is different. The merciful one would hate anything that anyone who act against their value, which means since she is standing for mercy, she is merciful, she is compassionate, she is forgiving, She is for holiness. Okay, we got the idea. So if somebody acts against her value, if somebody is incompassionate or unforgiving or unmerciful, is not merciful, but cruel. If somebody is cruel, indifferent to somebody else's pains, if somebody acts opposite to what her values are, if somebody act against what her values are, is not a sinner, but evil in her eye, because she acts to him emotionally. Unlike the judge Elohim, who just weigh your deed on the scale to see if you're righteous or not, she either like you or don't like you. She would like you if you follow her values. And she would dislike you or hate you. It thinks that you are evil if you do against what she is for. Now, Elohim will never judge you if you are merciful or compassionate or not. That's not his business. She does. So her value is completely different from Elohim yardsticks. So, again, so Elohim, terminology is important here. While we had transgressed Elohim law, we are sinners or righteous if we follow his law. Whereas if we transgress her value, if we are cruel, independent, indifferent, we are evil. So this is basically the main terminology and the basic difference between Hashem and Elohim. And here's the first notion what evil is. Evil in the Torah is a rule of thumb. Evil can be in my eyes, it can be in somebody else's eyes. Each one has maybe different criteria what evil is. But evil in the Torah, the term Ra, evil, is almost exclusively is a term in Elohim, as seen as Elohim in Hashem eyes, Yud-Heh Vav-Heh eyes. I'll give you an example. So if a king of Judea were evil in the eyes of Hashem, the king from the house of David, they were evil in the eyes of Hashem. It means that, first of all, they worship idols. Hashem hates those who worship idols. Those who know her and still worship idols, she's jealous. She hates those people forsaking her and going to the idols. She's jealous. This is what she is like this. She hates people who abandon her, who know her and abandon her. They are evil in her eyes. So those kings of Judea who left her, despite the fact that they knew her, so the king of Judea are evil in her eyes. Besides that, they took advantage of the poor, of the orphan, of the widow. And the prophet of Israel used to scream all day long. So here we are. The term evil attached to the king not because they transgress so much the law. They might be very faithful to the law, but they were evil because they took advantage of the poor or the widow, using up or misusing the law. They could have done it under the coverage of the law. These actually are worse than anybody else. If you pretend to follow Elohim law and you use it in order to do things that enrage YHVH, you are actually worse. Another example is exactly that Sodomite. The Sodomites were exceedingly evil. Genesis 13:13. So what does it mean Sodomites were exceedingly evil to Hashem, to YHVH? So Rashi says right there, they knew Hashem and they rebelled against her. And Rashi is very precise there. They were evil to Hashem exceedingly, Sodomite, because they knew Hashem. They knew what mercy is all about and compassion is all about. And yet they rebelled on purpose against it. They didn't rebel against Elohim. Oh, they were all very meticulous about the law. But they did the most cruel, evil things imaginable. Remind me Nazi Germany. Oh, they were dressed up, uniform. Everything is memo, order, law, police. Yes, there was civil order, yeah, so to speak. But under that civil order, the most heinous crime in human history were perpetuated. Factories to kill people by millions. Torturing, starvation, dehumanization. So exactly Sodomite, the old Sodomite, and the modern Sodomite, Sodom, Nazi Germany, is showing the example of how can people do, they can follow order, they follow the law of the land, could be, but didn't stop them to commit evil, unspeakable evil. So now we understand what is evil. It's a perception of Hashem against something that she hates. Now, so perception of Hashem, we just said. So how does she relate to the world? After all, our universe was created by Elohim. We are surrounded by Elohim law. Nobody here knows mercy and compassion, besides maybe Adam. So how, when she entered our universe at creation, it says here, you see it here, she entering from the Sabbath into the sixth day. How did she react to the world, to the 6 days here? Well, you can imagine, how she is entering. Elohim invited her to come in and to rule the universe with him. And she comes in, we said, like a bride entering the groom house for the first time. She's coming here as a shy dove, as a cherub. She's looking here to see, could she rule this universe? Did she have a place to rest her wing here? Is there a heart she can enter? She's looking into our 6 days. But what does she see? When she look at those 6 days, 32 times Elohim name appear here. So when she's looking into the 6th day, what does she see? She sees the world full of animals killing each other. You see calamities, you see destruction, you see tsunamis, you see diseases, viruses, bacteria. And you see, as I said, animals preying on each other. That's not the universe that she would have built. Had she built the universe, it would look different, completely different. But this is a fact that Elohim created it. But seeing those animals doing what they do, you cannot say that they are evil in her eyes, because the animals do what they're supposed to do. And they operate because Elohim created the sixth day by absolute justice. So if they kill, if animal kill another animal, the animal itself will be killed, measure for measure. Absolute justice. So if there's absolute justice, it's not evil. She's also looking at the universe beside her. She's looking at maybe the cosmos. And what did she see in the cosmos? Same thing. You see nova exploding. You see black hole swallowing million of sun in a minute. Such a world full of destruction. And who knows how many creatures are there? We don't know. It could be. So she sees all that destruction, and yet we would say that in her eyes, this universe, because it's controlled by Elohim is not evil. Elohim is full of justice. So the world, as it operates under Elohim, is no self-discretion. It's not evil. So the animal cannot be seen evil, although they cause pain and they prey on each other, because by definition they walk by Elohim command. It's completely different when she looks now at Adam. She is here looking at Adam. How does she look now at Adam? She judges Adam. Now, as you see here, that's why I left the slide for you to watch, because at the end of the sixth day, here she is here watching the universe. And as she's watching the universe, it says here, the last verse, Elohim saw everything that he has done, and behold, it was very good. Before that, Elohim saw the universe good. With Adam in it, is very good. So Adam is now judged at the end of the day if he's very good or not. He is judged. This judgment is done on Adam from two sides, from Elohim's side and from Hashem's side. Each attribute judge Adam here in his own values. Elohim will judge Adam if he complies with the law. If he complies with the law, he's very good. And HVH will judge Adam if he is compassionate, merciful, and forgiving, and cooperate with, adopt her values. If both agree, then Adam is very good. And if Adam is very good, it's very important, because then Adam can proceed to the Sabbath, proceed in history towards the eternal Sabbath. Here, the seventh day. If Adam fails, and he's not very good, or if you want, if he's very bad, or if he's evil, in her eye, forget about letting him come into the Sabbath. She will sever the tie here. She will run away. If she run away back to her domain, the universe will never go to the Sabbath, and it will be lost. Not only in terms of history, but also in our day. It happened in Noah. When the heavenly court saw that mankind was very bad, from both Hashem and Elohim side. Hashem, Judaism contracted into the ark and left Elohim to rule, and it was devastating. Elohim had the heavenly court, and we had no difference in the heavenly court, and Elohim executed the flood. So you never want to annihilate or to enrage either Elohim or Vayach. You need to keep oneness. So again, when she assesses Adam, from his point of view, Elohim point of view, very good means that Adam is complying with the law, is righteous. If from her point of view, Adam is, if she like Adam, she will allow him to proceed. If Adam is evil, then he will have to stand the consequences. Now, it's not. It looks like now that there are two systems, and evil is only from the side of HVH, and Elohim is just judging according to the law. But I will tell you something deeper than that. Let me see. Here is the heavenly court before Noah's ark, before Noah's flood. What I want to show you here is that here the session of heavenly court, in the text shows first Hashem, YHVH, deciding to bring the flood on mankind and to save Noah. Elohim, on the other hand, decide to save Noah and bring the flood to mankind. So they are like a butterfly that keeps Noah above the water. Both of them agree that Noah should be saved, and both of them agree that mankind should be annihilated. This is an opportunity to see what YHVH said. So I want to tell you another very important distinction between YHVH and Elohim. Here, I want Elohim, as we said, Elohim in the red, will judge Adam or mankind only if we have done something bad or wrong by our deeds. She sticks the evilness even before we do anything. She look at our heart, and she will judge us by our inclinations, but our thinking. Hashem saw that the evilness of Adam was great on earth, and that all the impulses of his heart are evil all day long. In the whole section here, not even mentioned on one transgression of a law. All that the merciful one saw, that the evil of heart, mankind was evil all day long. She judges by our heart, as opposed to Elohim. If you read this carefully, the red, it goes all the transgression of the law. So she is looking at our heart because she wants to dwell in our heart. And if she sees evil there, she will not enter it. But the evil she sends even before we do anything. And when Cain just wanted to kill Abel, it's the verse said that Hashem appeared to Cain and say, "Hey, Abel, sin is crouching at the door of your heart. He had never done anything yet. He didn't kill anything, anybody. Cain, silly scourges at the door of your heart. What a phrase, what a sentence. She sensed the evilness in his heart, the killing, even before he did anything. Now, I wanted to show you something fascinating about the distinction between Hashem and Elohim and evil. You know, we have a 7 laws of Noah. Each one of them is a commandment. Thou shalt not commit adultery, theft, bloodshed, and so on. If a person transgresses one of them, he is a sinner. But you know what? He's not only a sinner. Each commandment that he transgresses has an evil component in it. How? It's not that they're completely separated. The truth is, and deeply, there is a connection between the two attributes. Why? Suppose a person transgresses idolatry. Okay, he is here, Adam, and he is transgressing idolatry. Well, idolatry is worshipping other idols. So it's a transgression of the law. But you know what? In the eyes of Hashem, looking at him, in the YHVH, looking at Adam, this idolatry is betrayal of her love. She's jealous, she's zealous. And she hates those who worship idols, those who know her. And despite knowing her, they abandon her and go to idols. She hates them. So underneath idolatry, there is evil, perception of evil. Take number 2, adultery. Adultery says thou should follow the rule. Don't sleep with your mother, your sister. We learn it from chapter in the Story of Eden. So that's the law. But one who transgresses adultery, including somebody else's wife, is evil, ugly in the eyes of Hashem. Is evil. Why? We learn it from chapter 2. Because it's against her holiness. Sexual promiscuity is against her holiness. Ask her. This is what she is about. So violating, that's why the prophet of Judea, of Israel, was so keen about this idea of idolatry and adultery. Because adultery itself is not just sexual, I cheated my husband. It's ugly perversion in the eyes of Hashem. So number 3, bloodshed, of course. If killing somebody is not, of course it transgresses Elohim law. But certainly it's very obvious you do something very cruel. Cain, I saw what you did. The blood of your brother is calling you from the earth. It absorbed it. Cruel thing you did. She is crying. So bloodshed, of course, is a transgression of Elohim law. But underneath there is also evil thing. Number 4, theft, stealing. Stealing is, of course, you violate the law. But you enrage Hashem that cherish ownership an individual and you hate the feeling of the owner, there is some element of evil, even stealing. Injustice, obviously, if you commit injustice, it's not only transgressing the law. If you do it by taking advantage of poor and orphan and socially weak, and so on, you enrage Hashem. As a rule, then, under the Elohim judgment, there is deep there the presence of Hashem. It's not true, said Kabbalah, that YHVH is only here. She's entering here, but she's actually, when she put hand wing in wing, and the two cherubs flew together as depicted on the Holy Ark, wings touching wing. They flew over creation and consolidated it. She is now present everywhere. And she is underneath. She sustained the universe even more maybe than Elohim, because she's more powerful, Kabbalah says. So don't be misled by this picture here that show that only YHVH at the entrance. She is actually entered underneath here, but she's deep inside everything. Says Sfat Emet, the famous Kabbalistic and Hasidic author. So you see, the evilness that she hates is even under Elohim law. So you realize what we are dealing with. How much more so if a person blankly violates her value and is cruel in a stark fashion and is cutting the legs, and like the Sodomite did. We learn about Sodom and Gomorrah, we will learn the detail, the cruelty that they perpetuated and performed, sheer cruelty, indifference to pain and to others, never bragging about it. So they knew Hashem and they rebelled against her. They were cruel. But her presence is everywhere. So we got now the idea, a little more in depth, what evil is. Evil is perception, a reaction to Hashem, a reaction of Hashem against something that she hates or she despises, like adultery. And we will reach chapter 2 of Eden, it will be more apparent. So the question is now, if we go back to where we started, how is it? Well, we understand now that the evil does not stand on its own leg. Evil is only her perception. So that's her. What about Adam? How is Adam perceiving evil? Let's focus now on us. Can we perceive evil? The answer is, if we don't have her perception in our heart, we don't perceive evil. Let's say, take a creature that was created slightly earlier here, a snake, spider. At the end of the sixth day, in the middle of the sixth day, crawling creatures were created, social creatures, spiders, snakes, everything that form socialized. Suppose there were another million years and a spider would be smart. he will develop society, he will develop iPhone for his need. Would this spider or this snake, so to speak, the smart one, would it perceive Hashem value? No, never. Lizard. Let lizard develop society. Can be. Another 2 million years, they leave them alone, they might. But such smart lizard, as smart as it is, it will never, never, never comprehend YHVH. Why not? Because it was not done, it was not created by Hashem. Hashem did not participate in creating anything below Adam. So the serpent in Eden, for instance, as smart as he was a beast of the field. And as he talked to the woman, he never mentioned YHVH. He mentioned only Elohim. Elohim told you that. And he never mentioned even a word about YHVH. Why? Because a beast, the serpent, as smart as he is, he never had capability to understand what is evil and what is Hashem. And if you don't understand what Hashem is, you don't understand what evil is. Because if you look at the universe around you, suppose a lizard, smart lizard, look at the universe around. Oh yeah, there are calamities, there are creatures killing each other, but he has no perception that the universe could be created otherwise. He has no perception of mercy and compassion at all. Only his senses is fight for life. Eat and being eaten. Be smart. So use your science to protect yourself and control the universe and kill everything else. Or subject anything else. There's no mercy at all. So the moment that Adam has a perception of YHVH in him, that makes us feeling that there is evil that's out there. Oh, the universe could have been created without the diseases, without this system of measure for measure. It could have been much better. So we sense that the universe should keep correcting, tikkun. Why? Because we have the spectacle of YHVH in our eye. Only then we can perceive that something could be different. But the question is, now, how is it possible that, how was YHVH perception, how did it enter Adam's heart? Elohim will not do it by reflex. Elohim will never go and say, let Adam give an order, let Adam perceive YHVH. Mercy. Elohim will never do that because mercy and compassion is beyond his domain. He's not involved in that. So Elohim will never plant either a Hashem perception or plant evil perception in our heart by order. So you ask then, wow, how then did we get it in our heart? And how did we get it in such a big way that we are fascinated by it, that control our life, that we are watching TV all day long, looking for movies with horror and all this. We don't want to see something boring, quiet, tranquil. We want action. We want to go to the Colosseum and see a bloodshed. Wow, that would be wonderful. That's what we are looking, even today. Just civilized, and we replace it with our screen, but it's the same inclination, the same fascination with evil that the cavemen had, and we had it. How then this both YHV perception and evil perception. How did this enter Adam's heart together, intertwined? Well, for that purpose, the story of Eden was written. And the answer is only when Adam and Eve ate the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, only then in Eden, they got the first time ever the perception with the fruit, perception of both, a perception of Hashem intertwined with the evil. Because if you don't have perception of Hashem, you don't know what evil is. Evil must be, by definition, something that Hashem hates. Indeed, they cover the nakedness right away. Because they knew that walking naked and sexual promiscuity is evil in her eyes. Once they got the perception, their eyes are open up and felt what Hashem is all about, the first thing they did, first of all, they were sorry about the violated the Hashem word. They hide in shame behind the bush, but they also hide the nakedness. So they hide from Hashem rage because they violated his word. And they started to cover nakedness because they felt the first time, before that they were walking naked like snake, unashamed of. If you don't have YHVH perception in you, you are unashamed from nakedness. And as this is just said, it just happened, that adultery and sexual promiscuity is against her holiness. She hated it. She despised it. Ask her why. The God of Israel, said the Talmud, hates promiscuity. We said that Nebuchadnezzar would destroy the temple. The Babylonian king that destroyed the first temple, he was told about two Jews that were committing adultery in his court in the name of Hashem. And this enemy of Israel who destroyed the temple said, oh, it's not possible. It's impossible. These two Jews not telling the truth because the God of Israel hates promiscuity. So that's the story of Eden. Okay. Any question for me so far? This was a summary, a good end of idolatry, chapter 1, and I'm moving now to the fascinating story of Eden.